Earlier this month, the Meridian Library celebrated a big milestone, 100 years serving the community. And today, we're taking a look back at just how they got started and how much they've grown in those 100 years.
It started as a goal for a group of women.
We started in 1924 with the Occident Club.
That was a group of women who were dedicated to doing good things for the community, charity work, war bonds, that kind of stuff. And so they started that committee to have a library in Meridian.
It was an underserved or unserved area, and they were excited about offering library services to this growing community. In the fall of 24, they opened the first traveling library out of the Songer Pharmacy.
They just needed a place where people could go and borrow those books.
That was the model of public libraries at the time, and it was how you could get a public library. They started with only a handful of books, and so there weren't a whole lot to house like we do today.
In the 1930s, they were able to buy their own building to house the library, and the city of Meridian just kept growing.
Meridian grows, it takes more resources to run the library, and that's why they needed to start a library district in addition to the public library, which is what the Occident Club had been running.
In 1974, the Occident Club merged with the Meridian Public Library, so it was a city library, and the voters chose to tax the Meridian Free Library District, and it formed two libraries, and then they officially became a single entity in 1975.
For a while there was the public library and the district library operating out of the same building, that Occident Club building, and then in early 90s they voted to build the 30,000 square foot branch that is our current Cherry Lane branch that opened in 1997.
And they had, at the time, expected the city of Meridian to grow to a size of 40,000. We quickly outgrew that, but we still operate out of that location today.
What started as a traveling library has since turned into 4 branches and a bookmobile.
In 2023, we saw 1.3 million visits to our locations. I'd say one of the coolest things about libraries is that we continually change to meet the needs of our community, be that with providing 3D printing, news story times at different hours and days, or through home delivery where we'll bring the materials to you so that you don't have to change your lifestyle to come to the library. We'll meet you where you are.
And while we were doing a little bit more research for this story, we did learn that the Meridian Historical Society donated a number of items to the Meridian History Collection. Staff are currently working to digitize what they can, but they found an interesting piece of history from the 1970s involving a furry friend named Figaro, who decided to make the library its home.
We found some news articles and poems and songs that people wrote about Figaro, a library cat that came and adopted the library in the 1970s.
And it was a cat that lived in the old Meridian Library when it was in downtown Meridian.
Just a really popular, a really fun cat. That the library cat also had a couple of library pet siblings in the form of a couple of gerbils, but the gerbils made sure to be put in a safe place overnight so that the cat and the gerbils didn't get into any kind of shenanigans.
Now the library is using Figaro's likeness to celebrate their centennial, and you can try to guess where Figaro is every week over on their social media pages.